Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskritya.
Narayanam Namaskritya.
Tancheva Narottamam. Devim Sarasatim Vyasam.
Devim Saraswati
Tato Jayamudire. Nashta Prayasha Bhadreshu.
Prayashu Bhadreshu.
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke.
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke.
Naistiki.
Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki.
Pradashaya tapta tapasam.
Pradashya tapta tapasam.
Pradashya tapta tapasam.
Pradashya tapta tapasam.
Avitriptam nrinam.
Pradashya tapta tapasam.
Avitripta drisham nrinam. Adayantar adad yastu. Kabimbam lokalochanam. Pradashya tapta tapasam. Drisham nrinam. Adayantar adad yastu. Lokalochanam.
Swabimbam lokalochanam. Pradashya tapta tapasam.
Avitripta drisham nrinam. Adayantar adadyastu. Lokanam.
Swabimbam lokalochanam.
Pradashya, by exhibiting atapta without undergoing, tapasam, penances, avitripta, drisham, without fulfillment of vision, nrinam, a person's adaya, taking, antaha, disappearance, adhat, adhat, perform, yaha, he who, tu, but, swabhimbam, his own form, lokalochanam, public vision. Lord Shri Krishna manifested his eternal form before the vision of all on earth, performed its disappearance by removing his form from the sight of those who were unable to see him as he is due to not executing required penance. Lord Shri Krishna, who manifested his eternal form, Lord Shri Krishna, who manifested his eternal form before the vision of all on the earth, perform a disappearance by removing his form from the sight of those who were unable to see him as he is due to not executing required penance. Hare Krishna, Ratnamala Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Purport. In this verse, the word avitripta drishyam is most significant. The conditioned souls in the material world are all trying to satisfy their senses in various ways. but they have failed to do so because it is impossible to be satisfied by such efforts. The example of the fish on land is very appropriate. If one takes a fish from the water and puts it on the land, it cannot be made happy by any amount of offered pleasures. The spirit soul can be happy only in the association of the supreme living being, the personality of Godhead, and nowhere else. The Lord, by his unlimited causeless mercy, has innumerable Vaikuntha planets in the Brahma Jyoti sphere of the spiritual world, and in that transcendental world, there is an unlimited arrangement for the unlimited pleasure of the living entities. The Lord himself comes to display his transcendental pastimes, typically represented at Vrindavana, Mathura, and Dwarka. He appears just to attract the conditioned souls back to Godhead, back home to the eternal world. But for want of sufficient piety, the onlookers are not attracted by such pastimes of the Lord. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said that only those who have completely surpassed the way of sinful reaction can engage themselves in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. The entire Vedic way of ritualistic performances is to put every conditioned soul on the path of piety. By strict adherence to the prescribed principles for all orders of social life, one can attain the qualities of truthfulness, control of the mind, control of the senses, forbearance, etc., and can be elevated to the plane of rendering pure devotional services to the Lord. Only by such a transcendental vision are one's material hankerings fully satisfied. When the Lord was present, persons who were able to satisfy their material hankerings by seeing him in true perspective were thus able to go back with him to his kingdom. But those persons who were unable to see the Lord as he is remained attached to material hankerings were not able to get back home, back to Godhead. When the Lord passed beyond the vision of all, he did so in his original eternal form, as stated in this verse. The Lord left in his own body. He did not leave his body as is generally misunderstood by the conditioned soul. This statement defeats the false propaganda of the faithless non devotees that the Lord passed away like an ordinary conditioned soul. The Lord appeared in order to release the world from the undue burden of the unbelieving asuras, and after doing this, he disappeared from the world's eyes. Hare Krishna.
Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisheshaya Shunavadi Ashad Deshatarine Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Pradashaya Tapta Tapasam Avitripta Drisham Rinam Adayantar Adahyasto Swabimbalokalochanam. Lord Shri Krishna manifested his eternal form before the vision of all on earth, perform its disappearance by removing his form from the sight of those who are unable to see him as he is due to not executing required penance. So Krishna has acted in one way. He manifested his pastime and he disappeared. Just like Krishna appeared, it was beyond Janma Karma Chame Devyam. Krishna's birth is very difficult to understand. Krishna's disappearance is also very difficult to understand. It is not easy. How did Krishna appear? He came to heart of Vasudeva, heart of Devaki, stood outside a Shankar Chakra Gadapa. Beyond our capacity, how somebody can do that? Correct? Can somebody do that? Nobody can. Krishna's disappearance is also same. All the Devatas knew Lord is about to wind up his pastime. All Devatas are trying to see how the Lord winds the pastime. Boom. Beyond their capacity to understand, Krishna went back to the spiritual world. Beyond their capacity. Krishna is not within the capacity even of the Devatas. Even they cannot understand it. And very nicely it is said here that those people who are not ripe in spiritual practices cannot understand it. So we all have to do spiritual practices. Sadhana is given by the Acharya and you don't find time. Many times people ask Srila Prabhupada, what is the most important instruction you have given? Prabhupada said, among all the instruction I given for your spiritual advancement, the most important is chant the 16 hours. And actually 24 hours is a very big time. Here and there we get time. Somebody went to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, I don't get time to finish my rounds. So Prabhupada, you got time to sleep? Yes. You got time to eat? Yes. But so many things because we don't value. When you value something, it happens automatically. When you do not value something, it is very difficult to do it. It is also true if you do in company of devotees, it's very easy. Morning 5 o'clock you sit, by 7 o'clock it's all over. And you have to do it other time of the day, very difficult. So much work is there. You start, then you have to stop. You start, you have to stop. You can't concentrate and do it. Okay? So therefore we should take advantage of the best time and do it. Otherwise, the most important instruction is left as it is. And because Avityapta Disham, we will not be able to achieve the success in spiritual practice. Correct? We will not be able to achieve the real success. Bhaktyamam abhijanati, only when we engage in devotion service is Krishna revealed. And among the different activities of Bhaktya, Shravanam is most important. And in Shravanam, there are two components. One thing is reading about the Lord, hearing about the Lord, and chanting the God's name. So in that, the Acharya has given some sadhana. We should chant minimum 16 rounds. We should try to gradually come to the standard. Prabhupada used to say, I am not flattering you, one letter. If you're sincerely chanting 16 rounds and following rules and regulations, you'll go back to Godhead. So that is the encouragement given by Acharya. Prabhupada used to say, if you chant these rounds properly, Maya cannot touch you. You will protect you. So there is so much blessings actually in following rules and regulations. Otherwise, just like it is said here, that those people who are not ripe in spiritual life could not understand Krishna's pastimes, neither they could take benefit. There is Narada, when he was a small child, and he learned, he was staying in ashram with his mother and doing little service. And then what happened was that he was very silent, not like today's youngsters playing all the time foolishly, not playing and wasting his time. Silent, grave, and he'd engage in service. And then what happened was once the Bhaktivinoda left the ashram. While going, they blessed him, and other blessings he had of not only hearing from them and seeing the pleasure they are experiencing. He was taking their association. Association is not physical. Association is submissively hearing. You can be somebody whole life, but you may not associate with it. What is association? Submissively hearing another person. They were all associating with Narad Muni, associating with the Bhaktivedanta, and he was he says, I was not playful. Biggest problem with the children today is gaming and cartoons, all silly waste of time. That shows they have no seriousness in life. True or not? How much time in a college they spend in the silly things. So he said, I was not that. I was not playful at all. I was very serious. And I was here. Therefore, in the four regulative principles, Prabhupada wrote in the beginning, the 10 offenses, he says, free from foolish sportive activities. You don't expect to go to the ashram and see brahmacharis having a cricket match. It's a fool's paradise. Correct? A waste of time. Why they should do that? Why they should do that? It's all foolishness. So Prabhupada says one of the 10 first time when he put up free from this frivolous sports, meaningless sports. So he was not a child like that. He was very serious child. Or rather, he was watching the great sages relishing spiritual pleasure. And he was looking at them. Nothing. He was just a small maidservant son, helpless child. And they were very happy by seeing his seriousness. They blessed him. They gave some instructions to him. They allowed him to have sometimes their prasadam also. That's all. And while going again, they blessed him, gave some instruction, and they went away. And the small child he says that my mother was the only shelter for me. Then what happened after that? Mother died by a snake bite. And because already was spiritually so evolved, Narad Muni sought it as the Krishna's grace to bring him under his helpless condition, under his shelter. He did not, not like that. He was good handled. It was a shock for a child. I am chanting Krishna's name. This is what has happened to me. My only shelter was my mother. And that also has died. What I do now? You see it as Krishna's signal. Take complete shelter. It's like Srila Prabhupada also, when he lost his business, he took it Krishna's call to dedicate his life to his mission. And now, after that, Narad Muni started searching for the Lord because he had already been evolved spiritually. And he went through a lot of forests, a lot of cities. Cities means towns have so many pleasures. What is why people in village are attracted to cities today? City have pleasures. There are cinema hall, there are pubs, there are village, nothing. Why from India people want to go to America? Why? Because pleasures. Oh, beautiful girls are there, a lot of money is there. Why they go? What they're doing for spiritual advancement? No. They go for all this big money, big enjoyment. Say by big money, big enjoyment, people leave the villages and go run to the cities. But Narad Muni, when he traveled through cities, was not attracted at all. Was not attracted. It's Bhagavatam mentioned when he saw the cities, nothing could glare his attention because of his spiritual advancement. When you live in a city, you go down a street, you get so attracted. Oh, big cinema, beautiful girls. Oh, big clubs. So many big pleasures are there. In India, at least not that much. In Western countries, even worse. Can't even mention. So many kind of naked shows and the distraction for people. Correct? Meat eating places, drinking places, all gambling places are openly available. Therefore, cities are attractive to people. People don't want to stay in villages. They drop everything and they run. In the village, he has a land in which he can agriculture, he can do and eat. He lives that, goes to the city, lives in a pipe in Bombay, in a pipe, not even as a house. In village houses there, right? Because here so many pleasures are there. And foolishness as is, he doesn't want to earn a respectable living in a village by agriculture. Same hard work he can do and he can make his food there. But in the city, he works as a labor under somebody. There's so much hardship because what is attracting the pleasures of the city. Correct? That is true or not? Somebody was telling that his Brahmin community, he could not get a girl. The wife, no, all the girls they want to get married to some software engineer, some doctor, big doctor in cities, and roam on the mall up and down, up and down. Why a Brahmin doing puja? What the use of marrying him? Somebody was telling they're not interested. They don't get the boys don't get girl in their community. That is the reality today. All spoiled. All heads are seeking sense enjoyment. Like the insects running toward fire for its own destruction. But Bhagavatam and Narad Muni was not distracted by all that. And he left all the cities, everything. Then in a silent place in the forest, he drank water. He had not eaten for some time. When you drink water, you feel refreshed. The thirst is also felt, you feel little. He felt refreshed by it. Then he sat down now to meditate on the Lord. And when you're thinking about the Lord, already he was so evolved, darshan of the Lord came. Because blessing the devotee will not go in vain. So immediately got darshan of the Paramatma within the heart. He was so happy that all the senses became exceedingly ecstatic in darshan of the Lord. And then after that, it's all there in the first canto. If you have read the first canto, you can read that. He explains to Vedavyasa how he achieved spiritual perfection. And then what happened? The darshan disappeared. And Narad Muni became so disturbed, he started crying, no, no. At that time, the Lord appeared only in the sound. You could only hear the Lord. My dear Narada, you cannot see me because you are apakwa, you are not ripe. You are kuyogi, you are not real sincere. So unless you become very sincere and serious, this will only be a joke. Spiritual advancement will not happen. Materna Krishne Parato Satova Mito Vipadyete Grahavratana Adant Govi Vishatam Tamishram Puna Puna Charvita Charvanana. We just will keep chewing what you already chewed. Materna Krishna, we will never become Krishna conscious. Even other people will make an effort. Even you make an effort unless you give up the plan of enjoying yourself by the sense enjoyment. We have to say no, strong no to our sinful habits. We have to say strong no to our plans of sense enjoyment. Correct? We have plans of sense enjoyment. We cannot plan. Accidentally, sometimes our mind flickers to sense enjoyment. That's spirit. But we cannot plan. That is worst. Then you will not be Krishna conscious. What is Krishna Mati? You are Bhogamati. Matirina Krishna Parato Sato Va Vidhopi Pate Tigraha Vratana. The Prahlad Maharaj beautiful instruction. Or Bhagavad Gita very clearly Krishna says, but Prabhupada is quoting later, Yesham tu antagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvandamo nirmuktam bhajante mama dhrana vrataha. Yesham tu antagatam papam. The person has given all the plans of sense enjoyment. Jananam punya karmana. Birth after birth is only doing pious activities. Only they can understand the Lord. So Krishna's activities cannot be understood at that time or even now. For somebody who doesn't have enough pious credits. These pious credits are not material punya, it is spiritual punya. There is in Bhagavatam also, there is Krita punya puncha. How much punya these boys would have done, Shukadeva Goswami is saying. They were playing with the Lord on equal platform. Every day go with Krishna with the calves, later with the cows, and have play with Krishna. How fortunate they are. Correct? How fortunate they are. Krita punya puncha. How much punya they must have done to achieve this grace. Correct? How much punya they must have done. So therefore, unless we accumulate enough spiritual credits, like credit, nothing goes waste. When you chant Hare Krishna, it's a credit. When you pay obeisance to Krishna or the Acharya, it's a credit. So unless you have enough credits, spiritual credits, you cannot achieve Krishna. Material punya will not help you. That is useless. But spiritual credits will help you. Spiritual punya. Correct? There are various kind of punya. So if there is spiritual credit, then only we can see the Lord. So those who are not properly right and were involved in sinful activities, no way they can see the Lord. Then the real gift of human life is taking darshan of the Lord will not come. And for that, we have to have spiritual credits. So that's what Uddhava is saying. Lord Krishna manifested eternal form before the vision of all, for form it disappearance by removing his form from the sight of the unable to see him as he is due to not executing required penance. So you're not serious for doing tapasya. Prabhupada says Krishna is not partial. Everything depends upon or executing sadhana and strictly following the rules and regulations. Everything depends upon. He is not partial to it. Okay. So avitripta disha. Everybody trying to satisfy the senses But if fail to do so by, there is no satiation in satisfying this. Nobody is satisfied. And Prabhupada takes the example of the fish on the land. Many times Prabhupada says fish on the land and all the throbbing. Throbbing means padpadate na talpadate. Fish on the land. We are also all throbbing for some time and then we die. So we are all in the same situation. So whatever you do to give pleasure to the fish, suppose, it's all waste. It cannot be happy unless it goes back to the water. So whatever arrangement you do for material pleasures in this world, we cannot be happy unless you take shelter of it. Nobody can be happy unless you take shelter of Krishna. Correct? We should be convinced of this. Only the essence Supreme Being, the Personality God, and nowhere else. The Lord, by unlimited mercy, has innumerable Vaikuntha planet, and in that there is unlimited arrangement, unlimited pleasure of the living angels. The service to Krishna in the spiritual world, the pleasure is unlimited. Ananda Ambudhi Vardhana, Pratipadam Purna Amritva Sadhana. That unlimited spiritual pleasure in service to Krishna in the spiritual world. Lord himself came to display the transcendental pastime, typically in Vrindavan, Mathura, and Dwarka. Krishna showed the three places mainly. He was in Vrindavan in the beginning, then he went to Mathura, then he went to Dwarka. He appeared just to attract the conditioned souls back home, back to God, to the eternal world. It's like a trailer of a movie. 125 years Krishna's pastimes are enacted just to attract us as the trailer. But for want of sufficient piety, onlookers are not attracted by such pastimes of the Lord. Because they are not pure enough, they are not trusted. In Bhagavad Gita, it said only those who completely surpass the ways of sinful reaction can engage them. What is the Bhagavad Gita shloka? Yesham tu antagatam papam jananam punya karmana te dvanda moha nirmuktam bhajante mama dhrinavrataha. So unless some person is free from all kind of sinful reaction, he cannot engage in service to the Lord. The entire way of ritualistic performance is to put every conditioned soul on the path of piety. That's what the Vedas are meant for. The different rules and regulations bring us to the platform of piety so that we can engage in Krishna's service. If you are engaged in sinful activities, it is not possible to serve the Lord. Correct? Antagatam papam. If you are engaged, that is the definition of sinful activity. What is the definition of sinful activity? Sinful activity means activity takes you away from Krishna. So how can you chant Hare Krishna to sinful? You are doing contradicting yourself. One side I want to serve Krishna, one side I want to do something which is not pleasing to the Lord at all. We should have to avoid it. By strict adherence to the principal orders of social life, one can attain qualities of truthfulness, control of mind, control of senses. These qualities develop. Just like you are hearing today, 12th chapter, there's so many qualities we develop, so you become dear to Krishna. Somebody can say, when I chant Hare Krishna, one day automatically do it. Yes, but now sadhana should be done. Definitely, you say, I'm getting very angry. That's okay, but you have to sadhana control. Correct? Not that, okay, what can I do? No, when I advance, it will go. No, it's not like that. Now it has the sadhana, it has to be controlled. Correct? At the same time, you're doing spiritual practices. When you spiritually evolve, naturally, it will be possible. Only by such a transcendental vision can a material hankerings fully be satisfied. When the Lord of present person is able to satisfy the material hankering by seeing in pure perspective, but go back to him, back to God. As seeing Krishna, all the material hankering, want to see a beautiful form, want to see an attractive person, that is Krishna. Totally, it says Krishna totally satisfies the psychophysical nature of every living entity in the spiritual world. Totally we get satisfied with darshan of Krishna. But those persons unable to see the Lord as they remain attached because were not able to go back to God. They are attached to the material hankering. The Lord passed beyond the vision of all. He did so in his original eternal form. Krishna disappeared. As stated in the verse, the Lord left in his own body. The Lord took his spiritual form. In his spiritual form, Lord went. He and his spiritual form, there is no difference. Avinaktav nama namina. It's not that Krishna is different from his form. Same. So when Krishna disappeared from the world, he disappeared with his body also. You understand? It's like when we disappear, the difference between us, the soul, and the body. We leave the body here. But Krishna disappeared into the self-same body. The statement defeats the false propaganda of faithless non-devotees. Lord passed away like an ordinary conditioned soul. Not true. Lord is spiritually liberated. The Lord appeared in order to release the world from the undue burden non-asuras. After doing that, disappeared from the world service. Hare Krishna. Any questions anybody have?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Very nice Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Hare
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Very nice class. Lot of learning is happening.
Good.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So just one question, Prabhu. So yesterday in the class, one small boy was asking me, did Krishna die? The same thing. I explained, no, he did not. He went back to Yogor. It's actually, it's a misunderstood thing. He doesn't die. Always has there's no birth or death for him. His form is eternal. I explained to him. The same thing was asked by one small boy in the class yesterday. And so many questions he asked. Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, they are all the same. You say only Krishna is controlling everything. So many, I don't know why. Do children ask for their parents ask know them by their children? I don't know.
Yeah,
Actually,
very intelligent question.
yeah.
Accept the answer. You give yes.
But the thing is, they'll accept, they won't argue. They'll say, okay, Mataji, thank you. That's the innocent of the children. They're asking me so many questions. I told them the story about Gajendra Moksha. The four Chaturvidha Bhajante, distressed. Me to recite the story again. They were so influenced by the story. They liked it very much.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Pranam Prabhuji.
Pancha kalpa kripa sindhave eva cha.